Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel, I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on our $1 million challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, and we do take into account losses. So for further details with regards to in-depth strategy and how to join us on the challenge, information is available in the description below. In the previous video, we did a stock update on ticker symbol MMAT and also an update on ticker symbol ATER, Atarian Incorporated. So please refer back to the previous video for updates of both stocks. Before we start today's stock analysis, which is going to be an update on ticker symbol MMAT and also ticker symbol MMTLP, a quick update in terms of what's happened in the market. I'm sure many of you will be aware that this was an extremely difficult week in the market. And if we have a look at what's happened on the screen here, you'll be able to see from the Wall Street Journal, the headline, the Dow tumbles nearly 1,000 points as stocks extend the sell-off. So one of the key problems is the fear of inflation. So we have seen an indication here from Powell, who signaled that we're looking at a half-point interest rate increase likely in May. So again, inflation is something that does create fear in the market. It's not good for the markets. We also have continued the continued situation ongoing right now in Ukraine, which is also driving up prices, driving up inflation. So again, overall, not a great week for the stock market. Before we look at the update for ticker symbol MMAT and MMTLP, I'm going to start by having a look at the chart for Metamaterials. So on the screen here, we can see close of play on the Friday. The stock was down just in excess of 2%, closing at $1.25. However, on the week, it was also down approximately 15%, and at one point it was close to $1.45, so it has come down quite considerably. And there have been a number of statements saying that the stock has been under significant short attack. One of these statements has been from John Berger himself. So if this is obviously consistent with the short attack, I think it certainly seems as though, bearing that in mind, MMAT has held up fairly well, considering it could be a very, very strong short attack. However, I also think market conditions are not positive right now, so it will also be a combination of market conditions. So hopefully we do see an improvement fairly soon. First thing I'm going to share with you now is a tweet from George. So this is a tweet from April 21st, and what he said here is the Q1 results will be due May the 10th. So again, that's something to look forward to. However, in my personal opinion, I'm not expecting significant breakthrough in terms of some great news there. I do expect a little bit of growth in the revenue. I do expect a strong, healthy balance sheet, but I'm also hopeful, more than realistic. I am hopeful that we do get some more potential new catalysts from the company, but again, we'll have to wait and see. But George has also here retweeted Benham. So Benham has posted a positive tweet with regard to Metamaterials. He's identified some key points here. First of all, no debt. Number 2, development, then low cost licensing model. With regard to Nanotech, he's also talked about almost finished the largest capex projects. Number 4, increasing revenue upside over time. And number 5, strong research to commercial connections pipeline. The next tweet I'd like to share with you from George is now with regard to the special dividend, MMTLP. So what he's tweeted here again on April the 23rd, he says, all I can say at this stage is that we are having multiple weekly meetings across multiple teams, and we are moving forward as fast as we can with our plan. So this is a response to a tweet from AA, who stated, thanks for all you do, George. Amazing products, futuristic technology. Any update for the MMTLP holders? As mentioned, when their questions at last meeting were cut short. And I'm also a long MMAT preference A shareholder here. So George, give him credit where credit is due. He has responded here, and he has stated that they are working as fast as they possibly can. For those of you who've been watching the channel will know that I do like to look at the other side, as well as positive information from a bullish point of view with regard to Metamaterials. Well, now I'm going to give a shout out to Free Dogs, and he's responded to George, and he said, cash burning, no real revenues. Revenues are also not good in the business plan related to the current valuation. also had dilutions, and he's also suggesting here delisting by June 2024. So I don't necessarily agree with the delisting situation. I'm hopeful before June 2024 the company will have significantly increased their revenue as well as their contracts. But what I'm now going to share with you is a personal tweet that I've just posted. So on screen here, I'm going to also give a shout out to Gilbert Wasserman, and she initially asked me a question here. She says, with regard to the presentation by Ken Rice, just recently, we're going to have a look at that shortly as well. This was quite positive, yet the stock price keeps dropping. Your thoughts, please, appreciate. So I have responded to Gilbert, and at the bottom my response has been that yes, I have looked into this presentation. I'm going to share with you some of the thoughts on that shortly, but I do agree there are many positives in there with it, but in my opinion, a lot of these positives relate to the future potential of Metamaterials. So right now, in my opinion, I'm looking at the key reason why the stock price is dropping. First of all, in terms of the financial statements that have been shared in this presentation, there is a significant lack of revenue, and that significant lack of revenue, as well as many other factors, it basically mean is the company is having quite a significant net loss. So that is not good. Doesn't instill confidence in investments. And from overall bearing that in mind, as well as all the other extenuating factors, I think right now we're still looking at the share price to be extremely volatile. So let's now have a look at the presentation that Metamaterials just conducted on 21st of April 2022. So on the screen here we can see that this was done through the Noble channel check. So I'm going to share with you some of the key highlights. So on the screen here, first section I've highlighted from Ken here is with regard to the market opportunity driven by several mega trends. So in terms of what Ken said, and the key points on the left hand side here we can see on the screen, there is huge potential, he said, with regard to other verticals. So he's looking at a $3 trillion market, and that is looking at the areas such as medical, energy, aerospace and automotive. So again, he's come up with a huge figure there. Again, you know, just tapping into a small percentage of that would be huge. He's also looked at scarcity with regard to control of raw materials. He's talked about metamaterials device market expecting to grow to in excess of $10 billion by 2030. We also know about the EV sector as well as 5G infrastructure. So overall, very bullish, but again, bullish from a long-term point of view. And the next highlight I'd like to bring you with regard to the presentation is something I thought was quite interesting, and that was with regard to medical applications. So on the screen here, what Ken pointed out was, again, as I stated earlier, this is something that they're looking at in terms of the mid to long term, possibly 2 to 7 years in terms of its potential. But in terms of opportunity market potential, we're looking at $2 billion potential market for medical imaging. Breast cancer screening, we're looking at $4 billion market potential. Non-invasive glucometer, we're looking at a $15 billion market potential. And molecular biosensor, we're looking at a $10 billion potential. So these figures in terms of the market potential, they represent the whole overall market. It doesn't represent what Metamaterials will be achieving in terms of their market share. Metamaterials will be looking to get a slice of this market potential. So for example, if we're looking at medical imaging, looking at a $2 billion market, again, even a 5% of that market potential would certainly be huge. And the next slide I think I'm going to share with you is with regard to intellectual property and know-how. This is something most investors in Metamaterials are aware of. So Ken has again highlighted the key strengths of the company with regard to intellectual property and know-how. We're looking at 269 active utility and design patents. We're looking at 163 utility patents with 74 patent families, 9 registered trademarks, 6 design patent applications, 37 issued patents, 126 issued patents. We're looking at 80 pending, and as well as covering 24 other countries. So again, overall, this is huge potential, but again, for the long term. And the final thing I'd like to finish off with regard to the presentation is something I think is probably the most bullish aspects of Metamaterials, and that is with regard to the acquisition of Nanotech. So on this slide here, we're looking at Nanotech. Ken did make some interesting points here. One of the things he stated when I listened to the presentation was that In the United States, the currency does not have hologram features, unlike many of the European countries and many other countries. So I think what Ken is basically stating here is that if the United States does move towards hologram features in their currency, then Nanotech is certainly going to be a leading candidate. So again, huge potential for the future if that does materialize. But in terms of the overall benefits of Nanotech, we've already seen that these are positive from the business point of view in terms of generating revenue, but the applications also include 5G. We're looking at fuel cell technology, solar cells, brand protection, and we've also seen the application with regard to lithography. And in terms of $2 billion annual spend on banknote security features, this should certainly give the company huge potential going forward if it can tap into this market. So I think Nanotech is one of the positive things with regards to the company. If we look at the accounts, so the key revenue was actually from Nanotech, so more growth in this sector is certainly going to be very bullish. So long term, very bullish on Metamaterials. Short term, I think we need a lot more strong management, strong guidance, a lot more clear communication. And I think investors who are overall very, very concerned right now, I think that they have a right to be concerned. I think they have a right to have their questions addressed. I think they have a right to be clearly responded to with regard to any questions. And again, the other thing I will also say is if you do make any promises, it is much, much better to keep those promises. But going forward, long term, we're still going to have a little bit of trust in the company, providing that obviously you do deliver in terms of the promises. So thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.